Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we've got the second race of the Zwift Racing League here, Makuri Islands, fine and sandy. And has my training paid off? Can I Pogacar away to victory in this points race? Now this points race is so attritional. It's basically a rinse and repeat of sprint and recover. And you know, I'm not even category A or B, I'm category C, which is still a very good standard. We were bumped up into the C1 league after the first week of ZRL. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that debacle. But anyway, here we are, and I'm going to update you with what I've been doing training-wise this week, and we're going to see how I get on in this race. Now, this track itself is very up and down. You've got a couple of little lumps there you can see on the map. We go up the kind of twirly, whatever it is, bit twice, and then there are two sprints. So for me, it's a case of just hanging on to the front of this group for as long as I possibly can. Now, previously, you know, I've been pretty good. I've been able to win a Zwift Racing League race last season, but I'm definitely not in the fitness that I was. And this week, I've really been putting in the effort, like I did last week, to try and build my fitness. Now, we've just come up with the first little corkscrew, and job done, still with the front of the group. I wouldn't be expected to lose the pack at that particular point, but I'm already feeling a little bit in pain, to be honest with you. And here we come through the first sprint. Now, I didn't really want to give it everything in these sprints. I just literally wanted to still stay with the front group. That's it. That's all I wanted to do, because I've not been training sprints at the moment. I've been building my base, as you'll see, what I'm about to put up. And I actually found the sprint segments on this race so difficult. Like hardly any time to recover at all from one to the other. And yeah, it was just difficult. You know, this race wasn't it's not really my thing, this sort of race. And I knew it was going to be difficult, but I just wanted to support the team the best I could and finish as high up as possible. But we have got a few little surprises towards the end of this race. Anyway, we're coming through the second sprint here, and this one is slightly longer. And as you can see, I'm already hanging out the back here, which is one of my favourite things. And at this point, I'm thinking, it can't get any worse than this.
It can.
And you know what? Mick was absolutely right. It did get a lot worse. So you can already see that I'm struggling to get back onto the pack of this group. And we're only in the first lap, so I'm thinking this is going to be a real struggle for me. Anyway, just a quick pause to tell you about the training that I've done this week, because a few of you I know have been following along. So a couple of rest days in there, Zwift race as per usual, and then a couple of workouts, some low cadence stuff. But if you really want to get into the kind of the lower detail, then I suggest just invite me as a friend on Zwift, or however it is, follow me on Zwift, and you'll be able to basically see exactly what I've done. I'll post again this time next week, so you can follow along if you want to, but it has really been helping me. Anyway, back into the race, and you can see that we're coming back up this little twisty climb, which, you know what, I have to admit, I never felt like I was going to get dropped on that climb, which is really weird, isn't it? Because I always felt like I was going to get dropped on the sprint. So I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit of a mental thing with me. I did actually feel that the training the prior week had helped me build up a little bit of fitness, but, you know, realistically, I'd only been training for 1 week and, well, 1 day really, and then I, you know, had this week as well. Now, I didn't pick this race as one that I wanted to win, but there was somebody within the team that I did think stood a real good chance, and that was Dan, who is the road captain of Team Not Poggy. And he was feeling good. Well, we did the time trial last week, and he also felt, you know, good at that point as well. So I had a really good feeling. I really wanted Dan to do well in this race. You know, in terms of me, I was just hanging on. I know Dan is very strong at these sort of races, very punchy. So I thought it would be really good if we could get a decent race result here with either myself, Dan, or any of the other guys in the team. We've got a great little team. Also, whilst you're here, for those of you that are new, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for joining the Discord and the Team Not Poggy channel, the club on Zwift. We welcome all new members. I say this every single time. We've got a fantastic community. I love seeing you all join in, and we're going to have even more Zwift Racing League teams next season. So if it is something you want to get involved in, please join the club and the Discord. And yeah, all welcome. Anyway, so as you can see, we are pretty much halfway through this race now, and I'm not doing too bad, right? So I'm still in the front group. We've got a couple of us here. We've got Dan, who's still kind of leading the way up the front, pushing the pace, which is good. And, you know, these bits during the race were absolutely fine. You know, I was quite happy to just sit back and pretty much do nothing. But I wasn't even really sprinting. So you have a look, I'm only doing about 30 watts, which is nothing. And there were a couple of times in this race where I was thinking it was just a mental battle rather than the legs. And that sometimes is what half the issue is with Zwift. It's telling yourself in your head that you've still got it, you can still do it. And I just climbed back on there. And I know that we've got the corkscrew coming up again very soon. You know, I didn't, spoiler alert, unfortunately, I didn't get any sprint points in this race, which is, it is a little bit unlike me not to get any, but I was wary of this corkscrew bit straight after the sprint. So I was just gauging my effort, and you probably see someone's gone off the front here, and that in fact was Dan. Now, it's quite early. It's just after halfway. We've got a whole full lap left. We've got, you know, quite a few riders here. Probably, I would say, 25 to 30 riders in this front group. So it was, I thought, quite an ambitious move to go off the front there. But, you know, Dan was pretty confident. We were on Discord at the time and we were talking, and I know that Dan felt very, very confident, but at the same time, it's going to be some effort if he can hold, you know, if he can hold on for a race win at this point. So I'm now going to do my best to not do anything on the front at all, as were the other guys that were riding with us. But no one really wanted to, it felt no one wanted to chase Dan back, which I was loving because I thought gives Dan a lot of opportunity to get away, build up a bit of a lead, and hopefully take the win for Team Not Poggy. And if he did, it would be very well deserved. So let's see how this plays out. So we're coming back up the corkscrew again. Once again, no problem for me. I'm okay with that bit. Just the sprints that I am absolutely rubbish on. Taking a bit of recovery here. And we've only got 4.8 miles left to go. And this was the sprint where I had to give it everything. So I did stand up. You can see I pushed out 500 watts there. But the group is slowly getting away. And mentally, I'm like, not sure I've got this now. Pop the steamroller straight away because that's the only time that I could really use it on this wooden bit because it didn't do anything on the sand. And I made it back in. So I'm thinking, right, I've literally got one sprint now and I've got one climb to do. Dan is up and away still. He's still out there, 3.5 miles to go. I've got literally everything crossed, but I know Dan is going to be suffering because he's been out there a long time by himself. But it's all really going to come down to the corkscrew. That'll be the main point because I know the group will get, you know, pretty fast at that point, and a bit of draft for others potentially. So here we go, last sprint, and I'm feeling like this is the end. I'm ready to give up. I'm sat down doing 400 watts and I'm like, this is it. See you later, guys. You know, I'll take 23rd, 24th, but no, put in another little dig. Mental game is still there, which I'm really, really happy about. Someone else tries to go off the front there, and I am a little bit worried at this point for Dan, because now is the time where it's really going to start to get hot heat. And I'm going to just stay in the draft for as long as I possibly can. Now, I do see someone go off the front. I think it was just in a bit, and I probably should have followed the move. I didn't, but I really had not much left. I knew that I wasn't going to be much use with the sprint, but at this point here, I know that I've made it with the front group. So in terms of where my fitness is at, I cannot be that unhappy. I know that with the training that I'm doing, I'm going to get stronger every single week. And as we come up to the finish line, I'm pleased to report that Dan has already finished in first place. What an absolutely amazing race from him. So pleased that he did it. He did the proper Poggy, whereas I'm sat here doing the proper, I don't know, I'm not sure if there's anyone that bad. But here we go, cross the line, and I got 23rd position. Happy with that. As a team, I think we finished in third place. So I'm really happy. What a fantastic result for Dan. I'm going to continue to do the training. Hopefully follow along. Another video up next week with my progression. We've got the next race. Once again, Makuri Islands Turf and Surf. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.